Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us. K&A Custom Crafts on Facebook.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. I am Ace, but that's right, tonight I am going by Magic Man. And then sitting next to me, yep, that's right, we call him El Diablo. That's Spanish for fighting chicken. I don't know. All right, but anyways, well, welcome in, Mr. Big B. How you doing tonight, Big B?
I'm doing great. Always enjoy Wednesday nights. Just, caught the All-Star game last night. Ready to talk a little bit of sports. Let's go.
Absolutely. And then, of course, J-Mac, the bearded one. I can't call him El Diablo since I gave Big B the name of El Diablo. So we'll just call him Mr. Phil. All right. So, J-Mac, how you doing?
Pretty good. I had a good day today. It was a pretty good day. I didn't have to work, though, so I didn't have to deal with any, entitled assholes today, so that always helps.
There was no Karens?
No Karens or Kins. I call them Kins. I don't really know what the male equivalent is. But, yeah.
All right. Well, we all know that on Wednesday night on Sports Minute, we always cover a certain, top 5 list for a certain NFL team. Well, tonight, guess what that team is going to be? That's right. It's none other than the Las Vegas Rams, because we are ready to talk about those Rams. And that's right. You know how before we always talked about those top 5 quarterbacks? We're not doing the top 5 quarterbacks anymore. Right now, we're doing the top 5 Las Vegas Rams / St. Louis Rams / whatever you want to call them, the top 5 players of all time for the Rams. And without further ado, that's right, tonight, Big B, you get to kick us off with your patented top 5 list of St. Louis / Las Vegas Rams.
All right. So I kind of went with probably 4 names that really jumped to mind. And a 5th one that kind of just came to me because we were talking backstage. I forgot all about him.
Mm-hmm.
So number 4, I'm going to go with Orlando Pace.
Good
Guy
one.
with the
Good
sax
one.
machine. Number 4, I'm going to go Isaac Bruce. Number 2, Kurt Warner. Number 1, Marshall Faulk. All of those guys part of the greatest show on turf. Probably the guys that brought the Rams to relevancy. And then number 1, the guy that I forgot about, and I want to thank Mess Around for bringing him up, Eric Dickerson. That's my top 5 in a nutshell.
Wow. So let me ask you, was there, out of your top 5 list that you just did, was there like a few of them that you're like, oh, I kind of want to put them on the list, like they were right on the outside looking in?
Well, Steven Jackson would have been that guy. Would have been my number 5 if it wasn't for Dave saying Eric Dickerson when we were talking backstage a little bit before you guys came on. So
really, Steven Jackson? Really?
Yeah, Steven Jackson would have been my number 5.
Wow. Okay. All right. J-Mac, how about you? How about your top 5?
5. It's really hard to pick 5. This team has such a rich history, and I do think that the greatest show on turf did bring the Rams to relevancy, but I think that they had some good players before that as well. Mm-hmm. So it's really hard. I mean, they had the fearsome foursome back in the 60s and 70s, so we can't forget about those guys. And Deacon Jones was one of those guys, so that'd actually be my number 5, would be Deacon Jones. And number 4 for me was Orlando Pace, actually, one of the greatest linemen of all time. Definitely can't forget about him. 3 through 1 was tough, I'll tell you that. It was tough to pick 3 guys in there. There's a whole list of guys I could have put in there. I could have put in Aaron Donald, to be honest. You could put in a Torrey Holden, Isaac Bruce. You could put in a Steven Jackson. The list goes on of all these guys you could put in. But I did go 3 through 1. I settled on Isaac Bruce. I settled on Kurt Warner.
Ooh.
and I settled on Eric Dickerson. I still think Eric Dickerson is the greatest Ram of all time. I think it's just because that rushing record, the only one that's gotten close, honestly close, is Adrian Peterson. And Minnesota messed up that year because they messed everything up every single year. He had run for 414 yards in 2 games against Green Bay, and you have 48 seconds left in the game and you don't give him a chance to get 7 yards.
Right.
I mean, come on. I'm sitting there screaming at the TV as a Packer fan. I'm screaming at Minnesota, and I'm like, what in the hell are you doing right now? Like, give him a chance.
Give him a chance. Exactly. You got to give Adrian Peterson a chance.
If you guys are screaming, what do you think us Viking fans were doing?
Exactly. You got to give the guy a chance. He's 7 yards away from a freaking NFL record. You got to give him a chance. You have to.
Yep. The coach at that time was
it was
Brad Childress.
Well, I was going to say Childress, yeah.
Yes. Sorry,
Yeah.
I thought we were talking about the Rams. I almost said Fisher. I'm like, wait, no, we're not talking about the Rams. Never mind. But yeah, we were talking about the Vikings. But now your top 5 list, J-Mac, I'll tell you, Aaron Donald, man, he's right there. I have to put him in my top 5. I really have to. I just think because of how dominant he's been as a Ram, it's crazy. You could potentially put him as potentially being the defensive player of the year every year. That's how good this guy is. So you have Aaron Donald, you have Orlando Pace, you have Marshall Faulk, you have Kurt Warner. There was so many Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce. There was just so many Rams out there that it's so hard to look at and put a whole top 5 list out there because of all the accomplishments. And Eric Dickerson, I think I completely agree with you guys on that how can you not put Eric Dickerson as the greatest Ram of all time? To me, it's close with, I think you guys might have put Marshall Faulk a little bit lower, not giving Marshall Faulk as much credit. I don't know. To me, it kind of feels like he was kind of on the same level, close to Eric Dickerson. But you're saying no on that one. You're saying no on that.
I had 2.
No. J-Mac was giving me the look like no.
I didn't put him in my top 5. There was a reason for that. He wasn't even in my top 5. I said he could have been, but he didn't end up in my top 5. There's a reason. Because Eric Dickerson did it. He still holds the rookie record for rushing yards in a season, and he holds the record for rushing yards in a season overall. He did all of that without a Hall of Fame lineman, a Hall of Fame quarterback, and 2 what should be Hall of Fame receivers on his team.
Trust me, and
that's why Marshall Faulk's not in my top 5, because he was good, and I'm not saying he wasn't good, but he didn't do the things that Eric Dickerson did.
Okay,
with no help.
But you could also then go on and say that about Kurt Warner having 2 almost Hall of Fame receivers, and Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce.
Right, but you didn't see us throw in, what's his name in here?
Jared Goff. Don't say Jared Goff, man. Oh my God. But let's get into a few comments here really quick. So David Sparks says, "What's up, boys? If I wasn't sick, I'd join you." Then Rosh Ali is saying hello. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. I'm trying my dangest to get that name right, and I apologize if I got it wrong. Then David Sparta says, number 1, Jackie Slater. Number 2, Deacon Jones. 3, Marshall Faulk. 4, Eric Dickerson. And 5, Isaac Bruce. So he doesn't even have
Jackie Slater. I like that pick.
Yeah.
Good pick, mess around. Jackie Slater, he should be considered into the if he's not top 5, he's top 10. No, hands down, no question.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then Warren Marlowe says Marshall Faulk, definitely. So I think Marshall Faulk, I think Warren might be saying that Marshall Faulk is possibly the greatest Ram of all time. Because when you look at even mess arounds list, he doesn't have Eric Dickerson at number 1. He has Jackie Slater. He has Eric Dickerson at number 4. And Marshall Faulk actually ahead of Eric Dickerson. So that's like that conversation that we were talking about before. It's really, really hard. But, J-Mac, I see where you're coming from with kind of the weapons that he had with him on the team, and Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce, and then, of course, a Hall of Fame quarterback in Kurt Warner. Because who would have thought that Kurt Warner was going to be that good when he played for the Rams, to be perfectly honest. And then he turns back around and he does that good for Arizona too. I mean, Kurt Warner was just a beast, bro. No matter where he went, he made that team so much better. And then Joanne is out here saying Brandon Herrera has the matching blue theme going on. So, yes, you do. And then, of course, Warren has his top 5 list. Warren's top 5 list: Eric Dickerson, Kurt Warner, Isaac Bruce, and Jackie Slater. So he's another one who threw Jackie Slater
4
out there. 4. Well, no, remember, he had Marshall Falk, too.
He had Falk up there.
Yeah, so he had
True
Falk.
story.
So that was his 5. But another one had Jackie Slater. And you know what? I was surprised that none of us had Jackie Slater out there too. To be perfect,
Yeah, I mean,
to me,
overlooked him for sure, an overlook.
Oh.
it's a great pick.
Before you guys came on backstage, we raised a question. If Trent Green didn't get hurt, do we know who Kurt Warner is?
No, and that's
maybe.
I've had this debate over. How are we going to know who he is? Trent Green was already a Pro Bowl quarterback when he took over in St. Louis. So if he doesn't get hurt and he plays at a Pro Bowl level, I guess that's a lot of ifs, but Kurt Warner would never been given a chance.
Well,
we can ask the same question. If Drew Bledsoe never gets hurt in New England, would we know who Tom Brady is?
That's probably the best one right there.
And they sit here and say that you should never lose your starting job off an injury, but that's 2 guys right there that I can name off, and there's more. Don't get me wrong, but those are the top 2 right there. Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, 2 of the greatest ever, that got their chance off of an injury. And actually, if you look at the third one, I could throw Brett Favre out there, because if Don Majkowski never gets hurt, does he get a chance to come into a game and start 297 consecutive games after that? Again, we get these people like, you shouldn't lose your starting job off an injury, but it's all about opportunity. So that's just how I see it.
Thing. I mean,
now when you truly think about it too,
Mess around brings up another one. If Montana doesn't get hurt, do we know who Young is? I mean, there we go. That's 4 right there. 4 guys that took an opportunity off of an injury and just never gave the job back.
But the thing is, too, I mean, you also go with the hot hand, too. And if they're hot, they're hot, But it's a 2-sided coin, I guess.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can't hear you, so hold on.
All right.
But no, I mean, so at least you agree with me, Big B, on that.
Oh yeah, I mean,
you take your opportunity off of an injuy.
Yeah, but I mean, again, the coaches are going to go with the hot hand too. So, your team's winning. How hard is it?
And we're back.
You're back, okay.
I'm back. So
I'm just saying, and then here's so just to name off something going on right now, and we're getting off topic here, but I just have to say this because I heard it earlier. I heard it said on another network. They talked about how do you see Miami? I mean, Miami, the Dolphins, they went 10-6 last year, but look at the mess they had at quarterback. Like, they benched Fitzpatrick to bring in Tua, and then Tua played horrible. So
but
then they went back
the playoffs with Fitzpatrick.
Well, right, but then they went back to Fitzpatrick, and then they went back to Tua again. And now Fitzpatrick is gone. He's starting in Washington. And are you going to stick with Tua, or are you going to look at another quarterback? Like, I don't know what they're going to do.
I don't know, but the one I was going to go down the route of, like we were talking about, where like injuries, that you should never lose your starting job to an injury. But I guess you can kind of look at the Chargers now. I understand, that like Phillip Rivers wasn't backing up Drew Brees when Drew Brees got hurt. It's just the Chargers didn't re-sign him because they were afraid of the shoulder that Drew Brees had gotten hurt. So if Drew Brees doesn't mess up his shoulder, does Phillip Rivers play for the Chargers?
I mean, probably not, because Drew Brees goes to the Saints, and as we know, the rest is history. Phillip Rivers' second all-time in career starts with 256 after that he started consecutive games in a row. It's crazy. Injuries are crazy. They're a crazy thing to deal with. I wouldn't ever want to go through an injury if I was a starter, because I may never play again. Just for the fact maybe I come back from my injury, but some guy comes in there and plays better than me, he's going to take my job.
Yep.
You can even look at that with running backs too. Running backs are almost the same.
Oh, that's the number
same exact way. Exactly.
Number one position that happens in all the time. And I would never. I'm sorry, if it was me, I would never pay a running back.
No, not the way today's game is with dual running backs.
So Dave Esparza is saying he had to play ball with all them games with 17 kids to feed.
I mean, it's true. Your religion, you get a lot of. But here's what I could say for Rivers. I feel worse for his wife because they've had all those kids together. I mean, you got guys like Dominique Cromartie back in the day who one time I remember he's on this interview talking about his kids and he's like, I got so and so that's 6, and then I got her that's 5, and then I got 3, and I got 3-year-old, and then I got little Johnny who's 2, and I got little Jimmy who's 2, and I got little Taryn who's 2, and I got little Barbie who's 2, and then he had like 5 2-year-olds with 5 different women, and you're like, ooh. Dude, yeah, it's not even with the same person. So I mean, Rivers has a lot of kids, but at least it's all with one person.
Hey, I got kids. Yeah, I got kids, man. Yeah,
I got kids.
I feel you there, but.
Well, it's like Spencer Dinwiddie for the Nets being like, I can't feed my kids on less than 5 years for $125 million.
Yeah.
Ooh, what are you feeding kids? Are you feeding them like golden flakes made of 24 karat gold or what? Cheese and rice. We're paying our kid. We're feeding our kids for a hell of a lot less than that.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna jump into our next topic of the night, which is what do you see as the most underappreciated sport that you feel like people should watch and pay attention to just a little bit more? And J-Mac, I'll go ahead and start with you on this one.
Women's softball. You knew where I was going to go with that, though. You knew where I was going. And it's just, the game is so unreal. These girls play their hearts out, and they get no appreciation for what they do. They really don't. Mainstream. It needs to be mainstream. It needs to be... I mean, think about it. So how long has softball been around? I mean, I know it's been around my whole life, and way longer than that, okay? And we're in 2021, and for the first time in history this year, they had a fast-pitch softball game on ABC. For the first time in history in 2021. Think about that. TV's been around for how many years, and this is the first time ABC has aired.
Oh, ABC, I mean...
Yeah, I'm not saying on national television, but ABC. Okay. Like, how long have they been around as a company, and this is the first year that they put a college softball game on there? Or it doesn't even have to be college, but whatever. I mean, think about that. Think about how underappreciated that would be as a sport.
Can we take credit for talking about that?
Yes. Yes, we should.
ABC? We should.
It happened here for us on Coast to Coast, yes.
Absolutely, because we've been talking about this for weeks.
Yeah.
For like ever since we started this network, and we talk about women's topic every single week. We came out and said, "What's the next thing that they need? They need games to be televised on TV," and it happened. So ABC, if you're listening, give us props, man, because we've been sitting here, we've been talking about it every week. So J-Mac is talking about how women's softball is one of those sports that are kind of underappreciated. Big Bean, I saw your expression where you went, oh man, so it sounds like that's kind of where you were going with.
Well, I mean, I knew J-Mac, whoever was going to, you were going to ask first was going to say softball, because we talk about it all the time. So for me, I mean, I could go the easy way out and just say women's sports in general, women's softball, women's football, volleyball. I'm going to go a little off course a little bit. I'm going to go winter sport. It's kind of popular here in Minnesota, curling. I think curling should be talked about more. We see it on the Olympics every 4 years, and it's a sport I kind of want to try. It's kind of on my bucket list. Maybe once I get more into shape and stuff and I can do that little slide that they do. But for me, I think curling outside of women's sports should be one that we need to try to mainstream a little bit.
Curling?
why
he's
not?
a girly.
You mean where they take the coffee pot looking thing and shovel it down the thing like
It's called a
shuffleboard?
stone. They go down a little sheet of ice and just sweeping it back and forth to make it go faster.
I'm sorry, I'll give that one to women, but when these guys come out
I
and they're all
definitely say any women sports should be talking about.
men are coming out and doing
Yeah, but
curling,
this one-
I'm like, bro, why don't you pick a real sport, man?
Yeah, but I'm saying, this isn't only just for, this topic wasn't just for women's sports.
Oh,
This
I
was
know.
just, any sport in general that you feel like is kind of underappreciated that
Like
people
I said,
should be watching
It's a
more.
Canadian sport / Minnesota sport. It's big in Minnesota here. We got some curling clubs, and so I like it every winter.
There's kind of a lot of sports out there that when you look at, you're like, man, it's awesome. Now, for me in general, I know, J-Mac, you've always known that I've been a NASCAR guy. I like that. WNBA is another one. Because obviously, that's a route that we could go because we preach on that a lot every week and talk about the W. Heck, we even have our own subject about it. That's usually generally one topic we talk about every week is WNBA. So that's...
But you ruined it by having to throw NASCAR in there.
What? No, that's not ruining it because people don't understand the art of it.
Art of NASCAR?
Yeah, people don't
You just drive around
understand
in
it.
a circle and try to pass people.
You think it's easy?
Well, no, it's
Didn't
not.
say it was easy.
Exactly.
Didn't say it was
Everybody would do
That's
it.
my point. That's my point. It's not as easy, but I'm not saying that was the sport I was going with. I'm just saying, that is one of those underappreciated sports that people don't watch enough of because they don't tend to understand it. Okay, they don't. All they see is cars going around in circles, but it's more to it than that. One of the more
There is
underappreciated
strategy to it. I mean,
absolutely there is. There has to be a strategy to it because
Yeah.
you have to be able to save fuel. You have to know when to exit the track, and everything else. So there's a huge strategy to it. But when you really think about it, one of the big sports that, and I know it's considered, one of the major 5 sports, but I don't think it's talked about enough, which is actually NHL. I feel like it's definitely a sport that people don't talk about enough. But if you want to talk about like a real sport to where people take an absolute pounding, it is NHL. Because you take a pounding in NHL, there's really not a lot of rules that protects the players like they do in like the NFL or okay, were you going to say something?
Well, I was going to let you finish on the NHL because I have another sport that I read an article about today.
Okay. NHL is definitely one of those things because it's like we talked about. You can take a beating in NHL because a referee's not going to be quick to run over there and break up a fight when a fight breaks out. If you start getting punched, I mean, you're going to get a few punches in, and then they're going to come over and break it out. So it's definitely one of those sports that I feel is definitely underappreciated. And I guess if you like a lot of like smash them, knock them down, checking into boards and like blind sides and everything, NHL is the sport for it. But J-Mac, you said you had another sport you wanted to throw out there.
Yeah, I did, and it's kind of an interesting one. No one's going to see this one coming. I was reading an article today on the movie Point Break.
Water polo.
Point Break. We all remember that movie.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves, Patrick Swayze. Well, it's an old interview with Patrick Swayze, and he said the interesting thing is during this movie he had to get certain insurance to do the skydiving scenes, right, in the movie, and insurances would give him slack about skydiving and all that. But they said nothing, not one thing, about the surfing. When I took a pounding from all the surfing, and I had 2 concussions on set from the waves in surfing. We don't think about how much havoc that wreaks on your body.
It's definitely a dangerous sport. It definitely is.
Definitely underappreciated too, for sure.
We'll be in the Olympics this year.
About time. Honestly, I give you props. Like you run out there, you see a 12-foot wave coming at you, and you're like, "Yo, bro, I'm gonna go ride that wave." If it's me, I'm like, yo, bro, I'm gonna go sit in my car.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
No kidding.
Because waves like that. Like there was a guy. What was his name? His last name started with an N, like Nearich or something like that. It was completely crazy. It was over. I think it was in Panama, if I remember. But he was a pro surfer, and he said he just went out there to catch a wave. And as he's looking back, he's like, the wave kept growing and growing and growing and growing. And when the wave was done, he surfed a 101-foot wave. And
No way, wow.
and it was a world record. And when he's talking about it afterwards, he's like, look, man, I was a pro surfer. He's like, but I was scared for my life, dude. He's like, you look up and you see a 101-foot wave behind you and you're surfing this thing out. He's like, dude, I almost had to go home and change my pants. That's how scared I was.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I can't. I really cannot imagine. Like, I'd look up and see that thing, and I'd be like, so good thing I got brown shorts on, because that.
Yeah, but I give him props
already.
Well, I
Right.
give him props for not freaking out, because I probably would have. I probably would have panicked. And that was good for him not to panic in situations like that, because that is incredible, to be perfectly honest.
I found the story. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name. Antonio starts with an L, but 101.4 foot wave.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Last year, October 29th.
So where was it at?
Portugal.
Yep.
Portugal. I knew it was Portugal or
Yeah.
Panama. I couldn't remember which one it was.
Yeah.
I knew it was one of them. I knew it started with a
Something
P.
crazy goes on
But-
in COVID world now. 100-foot waves.
But when I saw it, I'm like, that's freaking insane, man.
That would be just crazy.
I mean,
Yeah,
100 feet. That's a 10-story building.
Yeah, right.
Think about that. I mean, basically, you look back and there's a skyscraper coming at you.
Yeah, and it sounds like a locomotive. It's not quiet in any way.
Oh, no. The small waves, like being from the coast originally, we sit out on the beach, we hear the small waves coming, and we're like, man, that's a big one, and you look, and it's like 3 feet tall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
I can't imagine what that one sounded like.
Oh. Or just seeing the guy surfing. I mean, that would just be...
well, they do have a video on it. You can
Yeah, I was
find
just looking to see if there's a video.
There is a video on it. You can find it.
Okay.
That's how I found it, because I heard about it and then I said I want to go watch it, and then I went and watched it on the video. I'm like, that's freaking incredible how that guy stayed calm through it, and I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. But those are definitely some underappreciated sports that we generally don't watch a lot about it. We don't even talk a lot about. You could even throw the bull riding in there if you wanted to, because that's kind of one of those dangerous sports too. But
True, because today, by the way, is the 32nd anniversary of us losing Lane Frost.
Lane Frost,
Oh, okay.
which was
Bull riding, yeah.
which generally on
8
this
seconds.
date is generally I try and watch that movie on this day, but sometimes it's always hard to find it.
Oh, we got it on
Anyway.
DVD, so...
Anyway, we'll jump into our third topic of the night, which to me, I could not wait to talk about this one, because it is a huge step in the right direction for the WNBA. That is right. That is Candace Parker being the first WNBA player to appear on NBA 2K22. That is incredible. So, Big B, I'm going to start with you. How big is this for the sport of WNBA? For Candace Parker to
It's
be
huge.
premiered
It's
on
huge.
2K?
It's huge in any women's sport. I mean, might be the stepping stone what women's sports needs. I mean, to get on the cover of a video game, a lot of people take it as an honor. I know they do in Madden. So for her to be the first woman to be on a cover, I think she's taking it as a huge honor and hopefully a big stepping stone, not just for the WNBA, but for all women's sports, softball and volleyball and all that. props to her. Props to the NBA for doing this. Now the question I guess everybody would ask is she the right person to be on the cover? Honestly,
why not?
Exactly. I mean, yeah, you go Sue Bird, you can go some of the legends, but I mean, right now she's probably the hottest thing going right now in the WNBA. So, props to her, props to the WNBA, and props to NBA.
I mean, it's huge. And so, for those of you who don't know who she is or who she plays for,
shame on you, by the way, if you don't.
She actually plays for the Chicago Sky. And so when it comes to it, like this, when they announced this, I'm like, man, this was huge. And so I immediately messaged these guys, said, we're going to be talking about this. This is one topic we have to talk about because this is definitely a step in the right direction. Because I cannot say enough about how much, women's sports are overlooked, and it needs to be brought to the limelight more to where people can see it. So, J-Mac, how big of a step to you is this?
Oh, I mean, it's huge. It is something that should have been done years ago. It shouldn't be NBA 2K. It should be basketball 2K, and just leave it at that.
Yeah, because don't they incorporate the women into it now?
They do. So when you actually go into like the franchise mode and everything else, they have different modes in there that when you go to it, you can actually play a season of WNBA on there too. So, so if you're going to have like WNBA on there, why are you just calling it NBA 2K? That to me doesn't make any sense. You need to be able to put like WNBA/NBA 2K, to give them some credit too.
I mean, it could be the contract that the NBA and 2K have right now, that they can only call it NBA 2K. I mean, that's all I can think of right now. So, no, I don't know, but yeah, it should be either basketball 2K or NBA/WNBA 2K.
Oh, absolutely. Well, this is obviously a step in the right direction right here because we're finally seeing it. So maybe with this, people are going to see that Candace Parker is on the cover, and they're going to go by the game and be like, well, you know what? I don't know a lot about Candace Parker, and she's from the WNBA. She's featured on a cover, so maybe that's saying that the WNBA is good. So maybe we should go check it out. And so it could be a possibility that at that point it could start bringing in some ratings because we always know, the WNBA ratings have not been that great. They just haven't been. They've been down for so long. The financial side had been down for a long time. They just weren't bringing in the money for it. But before Kobe had passed, Kobe was working in that direction to make the WNBA big.
No doubt. I mean, he definitely probably would have been in the front office or president of the WNBA. I don't know if they actually have different presidents between the two, but he definitely was working towards that stepping stone to become owner or some kind of face to help the WNBA out.
Yeah, I was going to say it wouldn't surprise me if Kobe actually would have decided to buy the WNBA at one point before he died. It wouldn't have surprised me because that's kind of what he was. How he was teaching Gigi to play and everything else. So so I'm looking at that going, oh yeah. So this is definitely a step in the right direction. This is the best way to do it, and so hopefully with this, it'll bring some more visibility to where people see the WNBA and wanna watch it and completely enjoy the art of the WNBA. So J-Mac, I don't know if you have any final thoughts on the topic or not, but
no, it's just a great thing. It's a good thing for basketball overall. Just basketball as a whole, definitely for women's sports. And let's relish in this. Let's make sure we're talking about it, and let's make sure we
absolutely.
Put it out there.
So that's why, speaking of the WNBA, now we jump into our next topic, which is Brandon's WNBA update. So, Brandon, what do you got for us today on your WNBA update?
Well, the first part of the season has concluded. Today they had their All-Star game. Team USA versus Team WNBA. And Team WNBA took down the Team USA. I don't have the final score. I thought I did. It was a close one, I believe. But as far as the standings go in the East, you have the Suns at the top, 14-6 on a 2-game winning streak. You got Chicago 10-10 on a 2-game losing streak. Liberty 10-11 on a 2-game losing streak. The Mystics 8-10 on a 1-game winning streak. The Dream 6-13 with a 4-game losing streak. And the Beloved Fever, they're trying to do it. I mean, they're on a 3-game winning streak. They're 4-16 right now, so they closed out the second half on a strong note. In the West, we have the Storm, 16-5 on a 1-game winning streak. The Aces, 15-6 on a 1-game winning streak. The hottest team in the WNBA right now, Minnesota Lynx, on a 7-game winning streak to close out the first half, 12-7. Mercury, 9-10 on a 1-game losing streak. The Wings, 9-12 on a 3-game losing streak. And the Sparks, 6-13 on a 6-game losing streak. So
the Sparks have fallen apart, man.
They have fallen.
They really
The
have.
wheels have fallen off the bus. I don't know what's going on with that team. Like, they were right in the thick of things. They were 6-7, right there in the middle.
Well,
I think they were in 3rd or 4th place, right there.
And
then,
if you remember at the beginning of the season, because at the beginning of the season when we talked about it, we said that the Sparks could be right around like 4th or 5th. We had said that, and now they're completely, and now you see them just everything just going wrong, and I don't know at this point, but at this point,
I mean, even the Lynx, I figured they weren't going to be. I figured they'd be fighting for a playoff spot. Right now, they're solidifying themselves as a decent contender, for our top. I should say top seed, but top 3 seed in the playoffs coming up. So
I don't know, man. It's
So I found the score. It was Team WNBA 93, Team USA 85. And I'm not going to pronounce the lady's name behind me, but she was the MVP.
All right, so J-Mac, this one comes to you. You have J-Mac Spotlight Player. Who do you have for us today?
I have for you today. So I'll list their accolades off like I always do. It's going to be so be a little bit different. Something we kind of talked about right at the tail end of the underappreciated sports. And so let's without further ado, let's do it. World champion bull rider in 1982. Sierra Circuit bull riding champion in 1984. Turquoise Circuit bull riding champion in 85, 86, and 93. Copenhagen Skull Bull Riding Championship in 92. That's good. The best circuit, by the way. That's the name you got to have. That's the one you'd want to be on if you're a bull rider. Copenhagen Skull, because all those guys dip, by the way. Calgary Stampede 5,000 bonus round bull riding champion. 2-time bull riding champion at the Pendleton Roundup here in Oregon. So that's interesting of note there. 2-time Grand National Rodeo Cal Palace champion. 2-time bull riding champion at the California Rodeo Solanas. 2-time winner of the Del Rio George Paul Memorial Bull Riding Buckle and the Rodeo Superstars Championship. Now, he finished second in the championship in 86, 87, and 88. And do we know who he finished second to in every single one of those years?
Lane Frost.
Lane Frost. That's interesting to note there. He retired from bull riding at the National Circuit Finals Rodeo in Pocatello, Idaho in 1994. He was doing ads for companies like Wrangler Jeans and Timex. And in 1996, he was inducted into the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame. Any ideas who it is?
Tugman.
No.
It wasn't Tugman, okay?
No. Any ideas, Big B?
Nah, the only bull rider I know of is because of the movie is Frost, though.
Okay.
No, but there was
Well,
Tugman, so you're saying it wasn't Tugman.
this was Charlie Sampson.
Dang it!
He was the first African American cowboy to win a championship in professional rodeo.
Nice.
Was inducted in the Hall of Fame in 1996. The reason I did that is because we've been talking about diversity and inclusion, and I wanted to throw that in tonight and say that there have been guys that have made a career out of that as well. And just to give you a little thing of what he said that he is known for many injuries in my career. In 1983, a bull jerked me down and cracked my skull. I broke every bone in my face except my nose. I broke my ankle, my leg, my sternum, my wrist. In 88, I had an ear ripped off when a bull ran over me and his foot caught my hat. He shattered his face in a riding accident in front of Ronald Reagan.
Ooh.
So, he has said that he has probably broken 31 to 32 bones in his body, other than on his face. So,
wow.
Let's remember how dangerous pro bull riding is. It's that takes a special kind of guy right there. That's for sure.
Well, just think of the clowns too that run around there and try to distract the bulls.
Yeah. If there was a profession in which you would pay them millions of dollars a year, I'm all for signing up for them guys making that much money because they deserve all that money. I've watched the local rodeo and I felt bad for those guys. Oh, yeah. So imagine the pro ones that are going out there, and I'm just saying these are the guys that deserve to have millions of dollars a year because they put their life on the line literally every time they ride a bull.
Just think what their insurance rates are for them guys.
That's got to be insane.
If they even can get insurance. I mean, that's, one thing too.
Right. So there we go. Charlie Sampson. First African-American pro rodeo Hall of Famer.
Charlie Sampson. So,
yeah.
I just got this update here that they were talking about the odds for what Washington football's team name could be. They had updated the odds a little bit. And right at the very top, at plus 150 odds, they have the Red Wolves.
I like it. I think that should be their name. They wouldn't have to change much as far as their color scheme.
Oh, they've already said they're not changing the color scheme.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't have to change much as far as your color scheme. The other one that I thought that they should do would have been the Warriors. There it is, with Davis Barza said it. The Warriors.
Okay. So they're going from the Redskins, which was a controversial name, to the Red Bulls, to the Warriors. I mean, when are those going to be controversial? We know it's coming down the road. I mean,
well, so some of the names that they have right now that they're talking about, the good or bad with names or whatever. Currently they have the Red Wolves at number 1. They have the Red Tails at number 2. They have
that one offends me though, as a white guy. Just saying.
they have the Warriors actually at number 3. That's where it is. And then at the very bottom of this list, they have the Monuments. That's like the very last
Really?
one.
We're gonna call a team the Monuments.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
the top team is the Red Tails or Red Bulls.
Red Wolves.
The
Red Wolves.
Okay. I'm sorry. I was getting a little disconnected.
Yeah. No. You're good. So a few other names that are thrown in this is the Generals, the Aviators, the Skins, the Guardians, the Armada, the Lincolns.
Oh my God, the Armada!
I mean, I'm with Messer all day. If I just go back to the Redskins. I mean,
the Memorial, the Red Hawks, the Griffins, the Archers, the Commanders, the Kings, the Presidents, the Americans, and the Renegades, and then you have the Monuments.
I like the Renegades too. I don't think that's good. I don't think that can offend anybody. I mean, it really can't. I think the presidents, you have people being, well, are they going Democratic president or Republican president? Like, and then the monuments would be like, oh, but what monuments do they stand for? Do they stand for all of the minority ones, or like, really, man? We're gonna find a problem no matter what name they pick. Okay.
Exactly.
But
this is why you should do things like the Oklahoma City Thunder and just say the Thunder, because who can be offended by thunder?
The very last one that I thought was on this though, that J-Mac you immediately said really was when it was the monuments. You're like, we're gonna call them the
monuments. Come on. The monuments.
I thought the same thing too. It's like, really gonna call them monuments? I mean,
the monuments. I mean, imagine the Armada, Washington Armada.
Well, it was the Spanish Armada, and it was 1466. So we're gonna go something back that's, almost 700 years ago, and that's what we're gonna name a team off of. But history is what's offending us now. I don't even know. Let's just go back to the Redskins, because
Dave says it sounds like a hotel when you talk about the Armada, which I believe isn't it a hotel?
The Ramada
Ramada, yeah.
The Armada that's talking about, I believe, is the Spanish Armada.
Armada from 1466, yeah.
Yeah, that's just stupid.
The Lincolns, though. I mean, what do you think?
I don't. Why do we got to throw things like that into it? Like the Lincolns? We're going to have the Washington Lincolns as a team.
The Generals isn't bad.
The Generals isn't bad. That's a rank in the military.
Mm-hmm.
But then you'll have the anti-military people that'll, get upset about that one.
But I do really like, and it surprises me that this one is second to last on the list. The Renegades. I like
the Renegades. I think the Renegades, the Red Wolves, and I think those are the best two. To be honest, I think those are the ones that
XFL or Canadian football team too.
Yeah, who cares? I mean,
well, no, I'm just saying, who cares? Yeah. You're right, but I go with the Renegades. That'd be an awesome. Get some man running around on the field calling himself the Renegade.
The Renegades. No, I mean, it's not bad. All right, but
I mean, you're talking about people in the cancel culture that got upset because the Hawaii football team was called the Rainbow Warriors. Yeah. And they said that it made fun of the LTGBQSRCMP. Yeah. Well, I don't even know all the initials. I'm trying to catch them all, and I'm sorry. I'm not meaning to offend anybody. But anyway, it was offensive to them for them to have a big rainbow as the Rainbow Warriors on there, so they had to change it to the Hawaii Warriors. Like, think about how stupid that is.
Oh, absolutely. All right, so now we're gonna jump into our final one, which, let me tell you, you guys love my final one, which is the GM game. You guys just love my GM game. Because I feel like each week, I feel like your guys' teams are just getting a little better every week. So,
oh, yeah, think so? Oh, okay.
So, Big B, I'm going to start with you, and you go ahead and take it away on your teams first.
Well, just in case you guys forgot, I got the Baltimore Orioles, who are in last place, 26-61, so that gives me a point. I got the Kansas City Royals, also in last place at 36-53, so a little bit better than the Orioles, but that's another point, so I got 2 there total. LA Anaheim Angels, whatever they're called, 45-44, they're in 4th place. I get 2 points there, so I doubled. Then we go to the National League. I got the Phillies at 500, 44, and 44. That gives me 4 points there, so we're moving up in the world. And then we got the St. Louis Cardinals, 44 and 46 in fourth place, so give me 2 more points there. And the Colorado Rockies, just because the Diamondbacks are in last place, they're 40 and 51, and that's in fourth place, so that's another 2 points. If my math is correct, I ended the first half at 12 points.
Well, so yeah, Big B, who's kind of laying in the weeds, trying to make his move here. He's trying to make his
The second half's going to be huge for these clubs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, especially Baltimore.
Oh, yeah, Baltimore's going to make a run. I see it right now.
Okay.
I'm putting $5.
So I've seen better runs in my shorts.
Right.
I'm
I'm
just
putting $5
saying.
on Baltimore and the Diamondbacks to make a run to the playoffs this season.
Oh my god! I'll take your $5.
Well, okay, so if it says anything, because the Diamondbacks right now, out of fourth place, they're currently 14 and a half games out of fourth place.
Oh, yeah.
They're 32 and a half games out of first place.
They're 26 and a half games out of the wild card.
They're
Halfway
gonna make a
through
run
the
to playoffs,
season.
guys. You heard it here first, just in case,
They
it happens.
Big B, they already have 66 losses.
Hey, anything can happen.
They're not,
So
they're not good.
26 and 66. Do you even understand? That means they have 70 games left in the season, and to even sniff the playoffs, the playoffs, they have to lose. They have to lose 14 out of 70 games the rest of the year, and that would put them at 82 and 80.
I'm telling you, it could happen. They're not mathematically out yet.
Okay, but they'd have to go 56 and 14 for the rest of the year.
Well, I know.
And that's to even be over 500.
And we all thought Pittsburgh was going to sneak up the joint.
They're not a whole lot better. I mean,
They're 8 games better than the Diamondbacks. The only team that is relatively close to the Diamondbacks right now for being just as bad is the Orioles. And Big B has them both. So
I know. I'm thankful I didn't get
don't
the
have
Orioles
Diamondbacks,
because
though,
no, I got the Diamondbacks.
but-
oh yeah, that is true. So J-Mac, now it jumps to you because I guess if one thing Big B has over you, he doesn't have the worst team in MLB.
Nope, he doesn't.
Nope.
So AL, I did pretty well. I have the Red Sox who are in first place, 5 points. The Astros are in first place. That's another 5 points. So I do have 10 points there, and then 2 points for the Twins, who somehow pulled out of last place. I don't know how much longer that'll last. So I did have 12 points in the
Hopefully
American
a long
League.
time.
And then we go to the National League. And, well, I do have the Mets, which sickens me, the fact that I have to root for the Mets. So I got 5 points there. And then, I have the Pirates and the Diamondbacks. So that's 7 points in the National League and 5 points from one team. It's not good, man. And just to give you more numbers on the Diamondbacks, we could sit here and pound the Diamondbacks if we wanted to, because it's so bad. So 40 games under 500 halfway through the year for one. That's horrible. They have given up 531 runs, by the way. They are on pace to give up 1,000 runs in a 162-game season.
Yeah, that's
Does that sound like a team that's going to win a lot of games, giving up 1,000 runs?
Who was their all-star this year? I don't recall.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look it up. And just so you know, 531 runs. So the closest team that's given up that many runs this year would be, let's see, so the Orioles have given up 502. So they'd be the next closest team. So thank God I don't have both of those teams, because they're going to race for who's going to be the worst team in baseball.
but by the way it's looking, it's going to be the Diamondbacks. I don't see.
Yeah, we can go on in more numbers. It is what it is. team stats. Let's look at that. So team stats, they average 4.1 runs a game, which is 22nd in baseball. Amazing that they're not in last, by the way. Home runs, they've hit 82. There's only one team that sits less than them. I don't know what team it is. I have to look it up.
Yeah, but those 82 home runs, 20 of them is by one guy.
Yeah.
Escobar has 20 of them.
So that means that most teams have 13 active hitters on their team. Mm-hmm. So you got 82 minus 20, that's 62. The other 32 guys have hit less than 5 home runs apiece on an average.
Okay, so you have Escobar with 20, and then you have Rojas with 10. So you have
two guys have hit 30 of your 82 home runs.
Oh, Escobar was the all-star. That's who it was.
Yeah. And by comparison, by the way, you're giving up 5.8 runs a game, which is last in baseball. So you're giving up almost 6 runs a game. You got to score 7 runs to win a game. That's not going to happen much, to be honest. Your batting average against these all rank last in the league, by the way. Runs allowed 5.8, hits allowed 9.4, batting average against 274. Their opponents are hitting 274 against their pitchers. That's insane. They're next to last in ERA at 5.4. That Atlanta's probably first. Just throwing that out there because we suck. So
in ERA,
strikeouts per 9 innings, 7.96. That's worst in baseball. Home runs given up, they've given up 135.
I got the Diamondbacks at last in the ERA.
Well, that was according to this, so it could be. I'm just saying, according to this, they're 29th, but they could be last. 5.4 isn't good.
Oh, you're talking about the whole league. Okay, I was just looking at National League.
No.
Yeah.
Baltimore's at 5.6.
5.6. Well, there you go. So, by the way, the best hitter on their team
is Escobar.
He's hitting 254.
And who will probably get traded.
Well,
and if I was him, I'd want to be traded. I'd say, can I get the hell out of here, please?
Well, if you're talking about like batting average, their actual leader on the team is Smith, but at 263. But I thought you were talking about like home runs and RBIs, because if you're talking about that, it's Escobar because he's got 2060. But Smith is batting a 263. But still, it's still the Diamondbacks suck. I mean, they're bad. I mean, they are really, really bad.
I mean, you look at their starter, their pitcher's ERA. The best ERA on their team right now
is like a 4.40 something.
Is a 3.74. That's by Tony Clark, okay, who's pitched 33 innings. The next closest one,
baseman back in the day.
Yeah, right. The next closest one is 4.54 by Smith, who's pitched 71 innings, and then you got a couple more in the fours, but then it's like, you got Rusty Smith or some shit. But so, he's at 6.20.
Well, yeah, but if you're going by like starter ERA, their best starter is Kelly with a ERA of 4.46. So
it's so stupid.
Their third baseman's throwing a perfect inning. He's got the best ERA.
True.
Escobar, he does it all.
No, it wasn't Escobar.
Oh, it wasn't Escobar. Wow.
No, it was Madsen.
So you know your team's bad when you're 90 games into 92 games in a season, whatever, and your closer has three saves.
He's got four.
He got 4 now.
Yeah.
4 saves. 4. Brandon, think about that. 4.
It's more than 3. Less than 5.
Yeah. And so now to finish it out, let me go ahead and how many total points did you have, J-Mac?
I have 21.
21 total points. So, I mean,
I'm sorry, 19. Excuse me.
Okay.
I miscounted 19.
I'm sorry, but they got 10 saves, or I'm sorry, 4, 5, 9 saves total.
9.
And 4 of them comes for the closer. All right.
Yeah. So now we have my team. So I've got the Yankees, who are current. The Yankees are actually in 4th place, which is actually right now surprising me a little bit. So they got me 2 points. I've got the White Sox, who are currently in 1st place, so they're getting me 5 points there. And then I've got the frickin' Texas Rangers, who are probably not going to get out of last place anytime soon because they suck too. So they're sitting in last place, so they have me 1 point right now. And then I jump over to the NL, and I've got the freaking lowly Marlins, who are also in last place, so they have me 1 point. And then I've actually got the Brewers right now, who are sitting in 1st place, so they're getting it done for me. And then the Dodgers, who are in 2nd place, which are kind of helping me out. So right now I've got a total of 18 points. So J-Mac is currently sitting in 1st, even though he's got 2 of the worst teams in baseball. He's still manages to hold on there. And that was because he's got, the Red Sox and the Mets and I think one other team that might be in 1st place.
The Astros.
Yeah, and the Astros. So that's why it's helping him out so much. But with that, that's going to bring us to the end of our show. So, J-Mac, I would give you 30, 45 seconds to wrap up. Say whatever it is you got to say.
Thanks for watching tonight. Check out the Four Bros Radio Show on Friday. We had a great show on Monday. And thanks for watching Sportsman. You can touch us on Saturday again. And don't forget, we got a great lineup tomorrow and Thursday. Tomorrow's Thursday. So Thursday, we got a great lineup. Friday, we got a great lineup. Saturday, we got a great lineup. Sundays between the ropes. Then we go back into the new week again. It's so great. This is so much fun. I'm having a ball.
Absolutely. Don't forget that tomorrow, Speak Out is coming back. That's right. You're going to see myself and your boy, Trey Callis, will be back on here. So, Big B, what you got? 30, 45 seconds.
Nah, thanks for all the comments. Love interacting with the viewers like normal. If you guys didn't check it out earlier today, we had a couple great shows on. Debut show, Bo and Joanne's show. They talked a lot of sports. Tomorrow, GMs for Hire is on. You'll see Ace on his show, and then of course rolling into the weekend, more great content, and then close it out Sunday with Between the Ropes. So
absolutely,
like said, we started all over again.
Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to it. So, of course, with that, we will see everybody. Oh, and let's not forget to thank Chris backstage. So
yes,
thank you
Chris.
very much, Chris, for running stream backstage. Thank you, everybody, for watching our show. And I will see you guys tomorrow on Speak Out, and you can watch another episode of Sports Minute on Saturday. We'll see you guys later.